Life lessons to learn in youth and avoid regrets in old age. Have you ever stopped to think about how you're living your life? Will you look back in old age and regret not prioritizing what really matters? In today's video, we're going to explore valuable lessons you can learn now to avoid regrets in the future. Stick with me and pay close attention to all these lessons. Let's together transform our lives. Let's start with self-worth and priorities. Imagine you're in a room full of people talking, each with a different opinion on how you should live your life, what you should prioritize, and even what to wear. Now, imagine yourself filtering out those voices, selecting only those that truly resonate with your inner core. How would you feel? Liberated, empowered? Stoicism, a practical philosophy dating back to ancient Greece, proposes exactly this exercise of self-worth. Isn't it fascinating to think that something so ancient remains so relevant and useful today? The core of this philosophy lies in the art of valuing oneself and simultaneously not allowing external opinions to disturb your inner peace. This crucial point helps us understand that we should not merely be an option for someone we consider a priority in our lives. Now, why is this idea so powerful? Think about how many times you've put others' needs above your own, sacrificing your own emotional and even physical well-being. Wouldn't it be refreshing to start treating yourself with the same consideration and respect that you offer to others? And what if I told you that by doing so, you not only improve your own life, but also become a better friend, partner, or colleague? But how can we really apply this Stoic philosophy in our daily lives? First, start by defining your personal priorities. What is truly important to you? What are your core values? Once you have clarity on these questions, it becomes easier to make decisions that resonate with your true self. You start to act not out of obligation, but out of choice. Imagine the situations where you feel compelled to say yes, when in fact your heart is screaming no. Acting according to your true priorities in such moments may seem challenging at first, but each conscious choice strengthens your commitment to your own worth. And here's something to reflect on. What would your life be like if you really lived by these principles? Incorporate this practice into your daily life. When facing a decision, ask yourself, is this aligned with my priorities? Does this value me? And don't forget to celebrate every small victory along this path of self-awareness and self-respect. Remember, it's not selfishness. It's necessary to maintain your mental and emotional health. Finally, by embracing this path, you not only elevate your own life, but also serve as inspiration to those around you. Imagine the impact of an environment where each person values themselves and respects their own priorities. What would this world be like? So I ask you, are you ready to start this journey of self-worth and live according to your true priorities? What can you do today to take the first step in this direction? Remember, change begins with a simple act of courage. Let's embark on this journey together, discovering and respecting our own boundaries and values, and who knows, transforming the way we live and interact with the world around us. Lesson 2, Truth and Honesty. Oh, truth and honesty, qualities so admired and yet so challenging, right? At the heart of Stoicism, these virtues are not only encouraged, but seen as essential for a life without complications and full of personal integrity. But have you ever stopped to think about the real power that resides in truth and honesty? Not only do they set us free, but they also build solid and lasting bridges of trust between us and the people around us. Being straightforward and honest eliminates a myriad of misunderstandings and unnecessary confusion. Imagine how many complicated situations could be avoided if people simply chose to express their true intentions and feelings from the beginning. Wouldn't that be a relief? Think about the times you've agonized over a situation, trying to decipher what someone really meant, or the occasions when misunderstandings led to conflicts that could have been easily avoided. Embracing honesty as a guiding principle doesn't just mean speaking the truth, but living by it. It's about expressing yourself clearly and openly, without evasion or ambiguity. This may seem a bit daunting at first, especially in a world where half-truths are often used to avoid confrontations or to maintain a public image. But think about the respect and trust you can cultivate by consistently being true in your words and actions. Furthermore, being true to oneself is perhaps the most critical aspect of honesty. How often do we find ourselves doing things that don't resonate with our values just to fit in or please others? Having the courage to stay true to yourself and your convictions is one of the most powerful exercises in honesty. This not only strengthens your self-esteem, but also puts you in a position where your choices are aligned with your true identity. Now let's reflect together. How can we incorporate more honesty into our daily lives? Perhaps starting with small practices, like expressing your true feelings about a movie that everyone liked but you didn't, or being transparent about your limitations in a work project. Every honest step is another brick in building your character. So, I challenge you to make honesty not just a practice, but a way of life. What changes would you notice in your life if you decided to live each day more aligned with your true essence? How can you start today to be more honest with yourself and with others? Remember, in every moment of choice, small doses of truth can be the secret ingredient to a simpler and deeply satisfying life. Let's together cultivate a culture of honesty that can truly transform the world around us. Lesson 3: Reflection and non-conformity. In our journey through life, we often encounter currents of thought and prevailing opinions. It's easy to be swept away by what the majority thinks or does, isn't it? However, Stoicism challenges us to be more reflective and less conformist. This approach not only promotes deep personal growth, but also allows us to maintain our authenticity in a world that often pressures for conformity. Stoic wisdom teaches us that reflection is not just an act of thought, but a vital practice for truly understanding our own beliefs and values. By questioning and examining our actions and motivations, we create space for self-awareness and authenticity. Isn't it intriguing to think that by distancing ourselves from the majority and reflecting on our own beliefs, we can actually discover who we are and what we truly value? Through reflection, we equip ourselves to make more informed decisions aligned with our deepest values. This exercise of introspection can be likened to an internal compass that guides us through life's storms. For example, when the majority decides to follow a path that doesn't resonate with what we believe to be fair or right, having the courage to take a different stance not only shows strength but also integrity. Now, why is it important, especially today, to reflect when we find ourselves on the side of the majority? In a world filled with fast-paced information and hastily formed opinions, taking the time to critically think about why we agree with certain ideas or behaviors can reveal much about our true motivations. Perhaps we are seeking acceptance, or maybe it's more comfortable not to question, but the real question is, does this serve us well? Furthermore, non-conformity is not about being contrary for its own sake, but about being true to oneself. It's about not sacrificing our personal values for convenience or approval. Imagine the power of living a life not shaped solely by others' expectations, but guided by deep reflection on what you believe to be true and important. I invite you then to ask yourself, how can I actively practice reflection in my life? In what moments have I conformed simply because it was the easiest or most acceptable option? How can I begin to make more conscious choices that truly reflect who I am and what I value? Incorporating moments of reflection into daily life can be as simple as taking time to meditate on the decisions made throughout the day, or questioning norms that are widely accepted without criticism. Every step we take toward reflection and non-conformity brings us closer to a more authentic and meaningful life. Let's together seek a path that truly resonates with our deepest values, creating an existence that not only satisfies us, but also challenges us to grow. Number 4, facing adversity. Facing adversity isn't something we naturally approach with enthusiasm, but Stoicism presents a refreshing perspective on these moments. This philosophy teaches us to approach difficulties not only with courage, but with a tranquility that almost seems counterintuitive. What if I told you that every challenge we face is a disguised opportunity for personal growth and resilience? The Stoics believe that in adversity, we find a unique chance to practice virtues such as patience, perseverance, and even humility. These aren't just abstract concepts, but real tools that, when employed, have the power to transform our approach to problems. Think about it. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" how about changing the question to, "What is this teaching me?" This shift in perspective is subtle but powerful. It allows us to extract valuable lessons even from the most challenging situations. And it's not just about surviving adversity, but thriving through it. How would you feel if, regardless of what happened, you could remain calm, gather insights, and move forward stronger than before? Imagine facing a work situation where everything seems to be going wrong. The project you're working on is behind schedule, colleagues are stressed out, and pressure is mounting. Instead of succumbing to panic or frustration, you take a moment to breathe deeply and reorient yourself. You start to see each obstacle as a question on a test, each one calling for a careful and considered response. How could this approach change the outcome? Adopting this Stoic perspective doesn't mean ignoring the pain or discomfort that challenges may bring. On the contrary, it's about acknowledging these emotions but choosing to respond in a way that aligns with your deepest values. It's an empowering stance that puts you in control of your reactions. So, here's an invitation for reflection. The next time you encounter a difficulty, try to see this situation as an opportunity to practice being the best version of yourself. What virtues can you strengthen? What lessons can be learned? And how are these experiences shaping you to be someone even more resilient and wise? Incorporating the Stoic practice of facing adversity with tranquility and courage isn't just about dealing with specific problems. It's about building a life where, regardless of external storms, there's always a center of calm and inner strength. Let's embark on this journey together, discovering how each challenge can teach us something valuable and better prepare us for the future. How about starting today? Lesson 5. Acceptance of death and the ephemeral nature of life. Death and the ephemeral nature of life are topics that many prefer to avoid. But the Stoics, with their deeply rooted wisdom, encourage us to confront these realities head-on. Why? Because by acknowledging the brevity of our existence, we are compelled to live more fully, with greater awareness and gratitude for the present. This is a powerful truth that can transform the way we approach each day of our lives. Consider for a moment the fleetingness of the seasons, of the flowers that bloom and soon wither. This transitoriness does not diminish the beauty of these moments. On the contrary, it makes each one of them more precious. What if we applied this same understanding to our lives? How would we change our daily actions and decisions if we truly understood that each day is a rare and valuable gift? The Stoics teach us that in meditating on death, we should not fall into despair, but rather use this awareness to enrich our lives. It's a way of reminding ourselves not to postpone until tomorrow what we can do today, not to leave unsaid "I love you," to forgive, to start that project, or to pursue the realization of our dreams. Furthermore, this reflection helps us simplify our lives by focusing on what truly matters. How often do we get lost in trivialities and minor conflicts, forgetting what truly holds value? By remembering that our time is limited, we gain the freedom to detach from what is superfluous and embrace that which truly enriches our existence. But how can we practice this acceptance of death and the transitoriness of life in a healthy and productive way by starting with small moments of reflection throughout the day. Perhaps we can pause to contemplate a sunset or reserve a moment to think about the things we are grateful for. Each of these pauses can serve as a gentle reminder that our time is precious. Now imagine how our society could benefit if more people adopted this Stoic perspective. Less anxiety about the future, fewer regrets about the past, and a deeper appreciation of the now. Does it sound idealistic? Perhaps. But every change begins with one step at a time. So I ask you, how can you start living more fully today, acknowledging the brevity and beauty of life? What are the essential things you would like to prioritize? And how could this new understanding transform your daily experience? By reflecting on these questions, we can be inspired to live not only as if each day were our last, but as if each moment were an opportunity to cultivate meaning, purpose, and joy. I invite you to embark on this journey of acceptance and discovery, celebrating the ephemeral beauty of every moment of our existence. Sixth lesson, value of human relationships and community. At the heart of Stoicism, we find a fascinating balance between emotional independence and the invaluable value of human relationships and community. After all, while we seek to develop an inner fortitude that allows us to face adversities with serenity, we also recognize that we are deeply social beings, whose existence is enriched and shaped by connections with others. Emotional independence doesn't mean isolation or coldness, but rather the ability to not let our internal states be completely dependent on the actions or feelings of others. It's about being the protagonist of our own lives, maintaining calm and composure even in challenging situations. However, this doesn't make us insensitive to the importance of true friendships and community support. On the contrary, this inner strength enables us to form more authentic and meaningful bonds because we choose to connect with others not out of necessity, but out of choice and mutual appreciation. Consider the value of a true friendship. It's not only a source of joy, but also of growth and support. Friends not only share good times with us, but also help us reflect on our own lives, offer sincere advice, and stand by us in times of need. Similarly, being part of a community provides us with a sense of belonging and purpose, expanding our understanding of the world and enriching our human experience. The Stoics teach us that nurturing these relationships is an essential part of virtuous living. By nurturing healthy bonds, we are, in fact, practicing virtues such as generosity, patience, and loyalty. Each interaction becomes an opportunity to practice these qualities, strengthening not only our relationships, but also our own character. Now think about the transformative power that genuine friendships and robust community support can have in our lives. In times of crisis, for example, the strength of our social network can be the key to overcoming challenges. And in everyday life, these connections provide us with moments of joy and satisfaction that are essential for a fulfilling life. So how can we cultivate and value these connections even more? Start by being present. Listen attentively, offer your time, and share your experiences. Be the friend you want to have. Actively participate in your community, contributing your skills and time to causes that benefit the common good. By valuing our relationships and our community, we not only enrich our own lives, but also contribute to collective well-being. Imagine the impact of a community where every person feels valued and supported. It's not just an ideal, it's something we can build together, day by day. So what step can you take today to strengthen your relationships and your community involvement? How can you be a source of support and inspiration to the people around you? Reflecting on these questions and acting in response to them leads us to a life that is not only more stoic, but also more deeply connected and rewarding. Lesson 7. Internal control versus external. One of the most transformative reflections that Stoicism offers us is the clear distinction between what is within our control and what is beyond our influence. By understanding and accepting this separation, we can redirect our energy and attention more effectively, focusing on our own actions, reactions, and decisions, rather than becoming consumed by external circumstances or the behavior of others. Think about it. How often have you found yourself worrying about something completely beyond your control? Perhaps it was someone's opinion of you, or an unforeseen event that changed your plans. This worry is natural, but the Stoics invite us to question, is this really helping? The answer often is no. By focusing on what is within our control, such as our own actions and attitudes, we gain a sense of power and peace. This doesn't mean that we should be indifferent to the world around us or the needs of others, but rather that we should understand where our influence begins and ends. This awareness empowers us to invest our energy more productively and healthily. For example, consider the situation of receiving criticism at work. While we cannot control the fact that we were criticized, we can choose how to respond to that criticism. We can decide to see it as an opportunity for growth, objectively analyzing what can be learned and applied for future improvements. This is a Stoic way of turning a potentially negative situation into a positive force for personal development. Furthermore, by practicing focus on what we can control, we begin to develop an internal resilience that protects us from emotional turmoil caused by external factors. This doesn't happen overnight, of course, but every small step we take in this direction strengthens our ability to remain balanced and centered, even when the world around us seems chaotic. Now, how about a little exercise to put this into practice? Try to identify 3 recent situations where you felt frustration or anxiety about something beyond your control. For each one, reflect on how you could redirect your response to something that is actually within your control. Perhaps it's the way you communicate your expectations, or how you choose to emotionally respond to situations. By making these practices a habit, you'll begin to see a noticeable change in how you feel about daily challenges. This not only increases your own serenity and satisfaction, but also serves as an inspiring example to those around you. Remember, in every moment of choice, by focusing on what we can truly influence, we are not only living according to Stoic principles, but also building a more deliberate and meaningful life. Let's embark together on this journey of self-awareness and internal control, discovering the power of directing our energy where it truly matters. Lesson 8. The role of emotions in decision-making. Managing our emotions to make more rational and fair decisions is indeed one of the most valuable teachings of Stoicism. This philosophy not only challenges us to understand our emotions, but also to respond to situations with a balanced and deliberate mind. Imagine how transformative it would be if, instead of being impulsively driven by fleeting emotions, we could respond thoughtfully and consciously. Stoicism teaches us that while emotions are an inherent part of the human experience, we don't need to be their slaves. The key is the development of self-awareness that allows us to observe our emotions without immediately being swept away by them. This empowers us to choose responses that are aligned with our most fundamental principles, rather than just momentary impulses. Let's explore a practical example. Suppose you're facing a conflict at work. Your initial reaction may be one of anger or frustration. However, instead of acting based on these feelings, you can take a moment to breathe deeply and consider the reasons behind your emotional reaction. This space you create allows for a calmer and more rational assessment of the situation, leading to a decision that may be fairer and more effective, both for you and for others involved. But how can we train ourselves to consistently cultivate this balanced response? Here are some strategies that can be integrated into our daily lives. 1. Mindfulness practice. Dedicate time to mindfulness practices can significantly increase our ability to observe our emotions without immediate judgment. This helps us develop a mindful awareness that is crucial for responding rather than reacting to situations. 2. Reflective journaling. Keeping a journal where we record our emotional responses to different situations can offer valuable insights into habitual behavior patterns. This gives us the opportunity to reflect on how we might respond differently in the future. 3. Reading and education. Studying Stoic texts and other philosophical works can provide guidance and inspiration for handling emotions more effectively. The teachings of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, for example, are particularly helpful in this regard. 4. Open dialogue. Regularly discussing emotions and decisions with trusted friends or mentors can offer new perspectives and support. This type of exchange can be very enriching and help validate or reframe our own perceptions. By adopting these practices, we not only become more adept at managing our emotions, but also more capable of facing challenges effectively and living according to our deepest values. So, what step can you take today to advance on this journey of emotional balance and rational decision-making? Every small habit we form, every moment of reflection we allow ourselves, contributes to a more deliberate and satisfying life. And don't stop here. Subscribe to the channel for more powerful insights and continue this journey with us. The next video will bring even more reflections and practices to transform your life. Don't miss out.